Hey YouTube, welcome to Higher Math Solutions. This video tutorial is going to go over how to factor trinomials where your leading coefficient or your a is equal to 1. So let's go over the steps first. Step 1. The first thing you want to do is look at your c, or your last term, and you want to find all of its factors. So that would be step 1. Step 2, you want to pick the pair of factors that add to be your middle term or your b. So pick your pair of factors that add to be the b. And then your third step will to be find the factors in the form of 2 parentheses, and then you're done. So let's do some examples. X squared plus 14x plus 24. This is a trinomial and my leading coefficient is 1. So let's start with the first step. I want to come up with the factors that multiply to give me a positive 24. Now there are 2 different ways of getting a positive number. Either both factors are positive or both factors are negative. Since I want a positive sum, I'm only going to look at positive factors. So factors of 24 are 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. That is step 1. Now let's go to step 2. Step 2 is I'm going to pick the pair of factors that add to be my middle term. So the pair of factors that add to be 14 are 2 and 12. So I'm going to pick 2 and 12 as my 2 factors. And then we're ready to finish. Your final step is you're going to open up 2 parentheses. You will have an X in the first spot in each parentheses, and then I'm going to put my 2 factors. I'll put the 2 in the first parentheses, and I'll put the 12 in the second. And so your factors for x squared plus 14x plus 24 are x plus 2 and x plus 12. Let's do another example. X squared minus 8x plus 12. So let's start with step 1. Again, I want to have the factors that multiply to give you positive 12. There are again 2 ways to get a positive number. Either both factors are positive or both factors are negative. In this case, I want a negative sum, so therefore I'm going to look at 2 negative numbers. So factors to give me a positive 12 are going to be negative 1 and negative 12, negative 3 and negative 4, negative 2 and negative 6. So that is step 1. On step 2, I'm going to pick the 2 factors that add to be my middle term. In this case, it is negative 8. So my 2 factors that add to be negative 8 are negative 2 and negative 6. So I'm going to pick negative 2 and negative 6 as my 2 factors. And then you're ready for your last step, which is to open up 2 parentheses, put an X in the first spot, and then I'm going to write each factor in the parentheses. So my factors are x minus 2 and x minus 6. And you're complete. Let's do one more. Let's look at 3x squared plus 3x minus 60. Now, if you're looking at this trinomial, you might be thinking, our leading coefficient is not 1. So how does this fit into what we're doing today? Well, in another video that I go over, I talk about the greatest common factor. And so if you see a situation where your leading coefficient is not 1, you always want to see and check if there's a greatest common factor that perhaps you could actually take out before you start doing anything else. So if I look at numbers 3, 3, and 60, I do have a greatest common factor of 3. So I'm actually going to take out a 3 before I do anything else. So I write out a 3 and open a parentheses, and I'm going to divide. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I'm left with just x squared. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so I'm left with just x. And 60 divided by 3 is 20. And now I'm going to look at what I have left over, and I do see I do have a leading coefficient that is just 1. So now I can continue using the steps in this tutorial. So step 1. I want to come up with the factors to get a negative 20. To get a negative product, one number has to be negative and the other factor has to be positive. So we have to look at different things. So factors of 20 could be negative 1, positive 20, or it could be positive 1 and negative 20. I could have positive 2 and negative 10, or negative 2 and positive 10. I could also have 4 and negative 5, or negative 4 and 5. Now I go to step 2. I want to pick the pair of factors that add to be my middle term. In this case, I get a positive 1. So if I go over all my pairs, I see the only two that give me a positive 1 is negative 4 and 5. So negative 4 and 5 are the two factors I'm going to choose. And then you're ready for your last step. I am going to go ahead and write out the 3 because I have it in the front. And then I will open up two parentheses. In the first spot, I will write the x, and then I will put my factors. I have a minus 4 in the first parentheses, and then I will have a positive 5 in the second parentheses. And so my factors are 3, x minus 4, and x plus 5 to fit this example. Thank you for watching Higher Math Solutions. I will be posting videos weekly, so please subscribe, and I will be happy to answer any questions in the comments section.